Hi there, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a tutorial for the song Wilco Whole Love. So I did a cover of this song back in November of last year, I think it was, and you can see that video here. I just wanted to talk about some points from that video, some different things I'm doing in my playing, and walk you through them a little bit. First we'll talk about the song structure, just the chords and the form. Then I'm going to talk about these 6-note chords I used, these big monster epic chords that sound pretty cool. There was one point I lost the form a little bit. I think towards the end of the video I could talk about that. So, I still make mistakes in my videos and I'm still learning. So that definitely happened with that video. And then just some other interesting things I did in it, such as using different registers and filling in the gaps. And I'll show you some examples of that, both of which are very important. And yeah. Okay, so first I'm going to talk about the structure and form of this song. There's two main parts that form the verse and the chorus. The chorus is this kind of walk down thing, a walk down from G to D, from 4, 3, 2, 1. The 4 chord, 3 chord, 2 chord, and 1 chord in the key of D major. So we start on the 4, which is G major, 3, F sharp minor, 2, E minor, and 1, D major. So that's the beginning. It's the intro, and it's also the chorus. You see that come up a lot. And then the verses mostly stay on a D major, like this. I kind of keep an 8th note thing going just to keep it a little rhythmically interesting because we're on that chord the whole time. So maybe a G there. So we had one G chord, but most of it was just the D chord the whole time. And then into this walk down. I'm trying to reach the 10th here in my left hand. It's a little hard. It's hard on the D. And yeah, that's the main form of the song. Just the walk down thing and hanging out on the D. And then at the end, when it sort of goes into another pedal of the D and it goes whole love, it sometimes kind of oscillates between D and G major, the 1 and the 4 at the end. But that's pretty much it as far as the form goes. Pretty simple tune. So I want to talk about the chord voicings a little bit. I use this 6-note voicing a lot here. On the verses, I think I did something like this. And that's, so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. D, an octave in the bass, D, D, F sharp, A, D, F sharp. And I was doing some kind of rhythm like... the rhythm was just sort of accenting the melodic line of the... And the the reason I split it up to have 2 video and 2 audio tracks was so that I could do these big chords, and then the other video was me playing the melody. So so when I get to that chorus, which has that walk down, I think I did something like that. Well, pretty much. Now the chords I'm using have 6 notes. So if you start, say you start with that triad, right? Just the basic triad: G, F sharp minor, E minor, D minor. With 3 notes or 4 notes, it's kind of thin, and I wanted something thick and big. So these are these sort of big epic chords. So we basically take the notes of the triad and double some of them, like this. So this was the voicing I was using: G, D, G, B, D, B. So it has this double third, this octave third on top. B, D, B. So if you want to do it in with numbers, it would be 1, 5, 1, 3, 5, 3. 1. And I just keep that same voicing and do it for the whole walk down. Now another important part of this, besides that voicing, which makes it really big and grand, the other part is the rhythm of it. It's a shuffle kind of rhythm. If you listen to the drums on the original, it's like a dun ta dun, like a shuffle rhythm, I think they call it. So that's sort of the rhythm I'm mimicking with the. It's like an 8th note feel. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and the accents are accented. I don't know how else to say that. The 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. And if you listen to the drum beat on the original song, you'll hear that shuffle rhythm. So that's an important thing that I mimic. Now you don't have to do the 6-note voicings the whole time. You can go back to 5-note or 4 notes. You can also do different variations of it, like say instead of with the 3rd on top, I could have the 5th on top. So instead of going G, D, G, B, D, G, I could do a 10th in the left hand and go G, D, B instead of this. We have this in the left hand, and then now I have a 5th on top. Something like that. You could even have 7 notes here. Is that it? Oh. So now I have the 5th on the top. That was something I tried to implement in this video, and I've also tried it on my video of Coldplay, Let Somebody Go, my cover of that one. I tried having the 3rd on top and the 5th on top, but I'm still learning these myself, and I'm actually more comfortable with doing root on top like this and 3rd on top rather than the 5th on top is still a little difficult for me, so I still have to work on that. But the basic premise is that you would use these chords to get a thick, big, kind of epic sound. and you can contrast it with going back to 3 or 4 note voicings and sort of expanding or shrinking your sound as you're able to. And it gives you different possibilities for the mood you want to create, the emotion you want to convey, and just arranging wise. So it's a good thing to practice. So moving on, I want to look at some other things I did in this recording. One of them is just called, these are good things to do, by the way, when you're playing solo piano like I am. So, I'm recording solo piano. I mean, I guess technically this has 2 tracks, this recording, because it's me playing the melody and me playing the chords. But regardless, in solo piano, or sometimes on the bandstand too, you want to have moments where you fill in the gaps. So in this song, like I said, the verses are mostly this D chord over and over again. And on the first time I played the verse, I mostly kind of just played the rhythm. But the second time, I do some things with the chords. I move around and do some lines, which fills in the gaps a little bit, like I was saying, of just being on that chord the whole time. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is changing register. So for the most part, for the beginning of the song, I was down here, sort of below middle C, a little bit around middle C, but down here really. And then on the third verse right here, I go up here. And I move the melody up too. I shift everything up to this part of the piano. And it really creates this contrast for the third verse that is a lot different from the first 2 verses being down here. And yeah, that's another thing. You want to take advantage of the full range of the keyboard. Now, I'll be honest, with this recording, I did mess up the form a little bit. Towards the end, I was getting into soloing just in D major, and I sort of lost track of the melody, because at the end it has this part that goes, oh love, and it stays on that for a while. I just feel like in that recording, my solo, I got carried away with the soloing, and it gets a little muddy towards the end, and there's no clear indication of where the form is, or that I'm going back to the form, which would be okay in certain scenarios, but in this scenario, it's not what I intended to do with the song. So I would have liked to mark the ending more with the whole love, like how they repeat whole love like a mantra in the song, and they drone on that, and in my ending that sort of got lost. So that just goes to show that just because I have a YouTube channel and I do this every week or every 2 weeks, well, what am I trying to say? I still have things to learn, and I get lost just like everyone else, and I make mistakes, and especially when I'm trying to put out videos every 2 weeks, um, it doesn't always, I definitely do not always get perfect results, especially because I try to keep up with the schedule of putting videos out every 2 weeks. Thank you for sticking around till the end of the video. I hope you got something useful out of this, especially if you're learning piano, studying piano. I usually do performance videos, but back in the fall of last year, I did a video like this, a tutorial for another song I did called Silver Soul. So a similar video to this, where I walked through the performance video and talked about some things. So I wanted to do that again because it's just it's different. It's a different kind of thing for me to do on the channel, and it's just interesting, and it got a good response last time, so I wanted to try it again, and here we are with the tutorial for Wilco Whole Love. So thanks again for watching, and thank you for supporting me in this.